Exterior, parking lot, streets. Interior, funeral home. Dawn. In small-town USA, a mail truck ignites its engine. Please, Mr. Postman, by the Carpenters, plays. The main title fills the screen. Postman. Intercut between locations as the opening credits play. Mail trucks are dispatched and begin to drive out of the lot. A funeral home's reception room is filled with neutral flower arrangements and set with rows of chairs facing an empty space meant for a casket. In the morgue, located in the lower level of the funeral home, Stephen, 36, the funeral home director, dressed in head-to-toe PPE, adds the last bit of rouge to an older deceased woman. He sets the makeup brush down and removes his face mask, revealing his classically handsome features, complete with an intoxicating twinkle in his eyes. He is confident and proud of his work. The sun starts to rise as the trucks continue to drive and reach their destinations. In the home's foyer, Stephen pours a cup of coffee for himself from the home's antique sterling silver coffee urn. He takes a sip. He walks to the front door of the funeral home and unlocks the deadbolt. Time passes. The body of the woman is beautifully displayed in an open casket. Stephen stands by the guest book in the foyer. As more patrons enter the funeral home, the husband of the deceased, mid-70s, walks up to him and thanks him. Stephen shakes his head, cutting him off with a smile. The man smiles through teary eyes. At that moment, a guest comes over to the man to share their condolences. Stephen excuses himself and walks away with a proud smile. The music fades out. Exterior, funeral home, night. In the darkness of the night, the lights of the funeral home are switched off. Interior, Stephen's apartment, moments later. Footsteps are heard walking upstairs. Stephen's apartment is on the floor above the funeral home. It's pitch black. Keys rattle as Stephen unlocks the door. He opens the door, steps into the space, and flips on the light switch. Warm light fills the doorway. The stairwell leading down to the funeral home can be seen behind him. A constant hum of white noise is coming from inside the apartment, from various dehumidifiers, which are always on in this space. One is revealed at his feet as he shuts the door behind him. He turns from the door, his gaze wanders across the room, and he smiles.
Long day?
Stephen starts making his way across the room. He takes a slight inhale through his nose. Jerry, 42, an embalmed Caucasian man with curly blonde locks and glass eyes, is seated on Stephen's living room couch, as if watching TV. Stephen turns the kitchen light on, revealing Reginald, 65, an embalmed African-American man sitting at the kitchen table, as if ready for dinner. The man has a slightly heavier build, salt and pepper hair, and tired-looking glass eyes.
Reginald, you can't be hungry. You just ate.
Stephen takes a deep inhale, gently closing and opening his eyes. He releases the breath as he says,
I can smell it in the air.
Stephen enters the kitchen and walks to the refrigerator. He opens it. Only a few soda cans are inside.
No leftovers?
He charmingly smirks at Reginald, shuts the refrigerator door, and opens the freezer. He takes out a microwavable meal, intentionally shuts the freezer door, and slides a drawer open. Stephen takes a moment to carefully select a fork and slams the drawer shut. He uses the fork to aggressively and meticulously stab holes through the plastic wrap, then places the container into the microwave and sets the cooking time for 4 minutes. Moments later, Stephen walks down a dark hallway to his bedroom door, located at the end of the hallway. He stands in the doorway. The lights are off.
Missed you.
He turns the light on, revealing Thomas, 29, an embalmed man lying on his bed. He walks up to him, passing another dehumidifier, kneels down by his bedside, and looks at him with a gentle smile. Thomas looks like an old Hollywood movie star. His face is frozen with a slight smile, and his glass eyes look toward the ceiling, The microwave alarm goes off. Cut to black. Interior, funeral home office, day. Stephen is doing paperwork, visibly on edge in his head, contemplating himself. The doorbell rings. He looks up. Exterior, funeral home front deck, moments later. Stephen swings open the front door. Peter, 32, a handsome postman with reddish-brown hair, fair skin, and an unassuming, awkward demeanor, is standing on the front deck, holding a huge box. Stephen peers over his glasses.
I have a delivery for Stephen Cotard?
Stephen nods in acceptance. Peter sets the package down on the deck. The package is visibly heavy. Peter hands him a slip on a clipboard to sign.
Want some help?
Stephen shakes his head.
What's in it?
Stephen sharply signs his name. The pen almost cuts through the paper. He looks up at Peter.
Office supplies.
Stephen hands him back the clipboard and pen. Peter nods, but doesn't leave.
Is there something I can help you with, Mr.
Peter.
Mr. Peter?
No, just I.
Peter awkwardly gestures with his hands. He clearly lacks confidence.
This is my route, as of today. So, hi.
Stephen stares at him through a little smirk in silence.
I'll see you soon, Stephen.
Peter smiles and walks away. Stephen watches him go. Interior, morgue, moments later. The stairs creak as Stephen walks down to the morgue. He sets the package down on the countertop and pulls a drawer open. As he looks for what he needs, the metal tools clink and clank. Finally, he finds the box cutter. He slides the blade up. It sparkles under the fluorescent lights. Stephen stabs the top of the opening seam and slices the package open. He takes out bottles of embalming solution and sets them on the counter next to the box. He opens the cabinet door above him and begins stalking his half-full shelves, stumbling and jittery. Alone, we see him anxious and in his head, carrying guilt and shame over his secrets. He doesn't exhibit the grounded demeanor he has when communicating with his dearly departed friends, nor the mask he wears when interacting with his living clients. He finishes up, shuts the cabinet door, looks toward the sink, and sighs.